Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I wanted to talk a little bit today about constructive criticism. People sometimes have difficulty dealing with constructive criticism, but from a self-development standpoint, it's very important if someone gives you constructive criticism to consider whether or not there are things that you can do, changes that you can make to improve yourself. There is a huge difference between someone giving you constructive criticism, advice that can help you to develop and grow and to become a better person. There's a huge difference between that and when someone just criticizes you for being yourself. There may be things about you that you're aware of already, that you're working on, and there may be things about you that you're unaware other people are interpreting a certain way. Anytime anyone gives you advice about things that you may want to consider doing differently, it's important to determine whether or not what they're asking you to change is something that's intrinsic to your nature, or whether it is something that they are criticizing in an effort to gain power and control over you. It's also important to consider when someone gives you criticism, are they creating a situation that makes it impossible for you to remedy the criticism that they're levying against you? If they're doing that, then I strongly recommend that you disregard their criticism. As a for instance, if you are being denied the ability to spend time with your children because a court order that states that you're entitled to visitation is not being complied with by the other party, and the courts are doing nothing to enforce it. In that situation, if the judiciary tells you that you need to do what you need to do to remedy the relationship between you and your children, and you're not afforded any time to do that because the court order is not being enforced, in a situation like that, you're not provided remedy. If you're not provided the opportunity for remedy, then you should not take that judge's criticism as valid. Anyone who passes judgment on another and does not provide them the opportunity for remedy or a pathway to remedy is setting that person up for failure. You have to be able to see what's going on when these people are doing that. Now, it certainly serves their interest because they can maintain power and control over that person if they hand down some sort of judgment about that person's character and offer no opportunity for them to remedy that situation. You can be the most compliant person in the world. You can be a person who is trying on your end to do everything possible to remedy a situation. But it requires cooperation from both sides of that scenario in order to facilitate healing. If you're the only one facilitating healing or trying to facilitate healing, it's not going to work. So don't take on any guilt that is being levied at you by parties that are not affording you any opportunity for involvement. Do not feel responsible for the depression, the mental state of others. Do not absorb that as you're at fault when you're not being afforded any opportunity to interact with those individuals. The fact of the matter is, other people are ultimately responsible for their own mental health. If people are depressed, there are things that they can do to address that. Living in a constant state of victimhood and blaming other people for your emotional state is disempowering, and it's also not fair or reasonable to blame someone else for your mental state. When you say and do things that are improper and then try to hold another person responsible for that because you lack the ability to introspect and to take responsibility for your conduct, that is the height of immaturity. I cannot make someone that does that sort of thing see that what they're doing is just a form of projection. People that do that sort of thing, they're really not capable of acknowledging their responsibility in bad behavior. But I'm certainly not going to take on the responsibility that belongs to other people when it comes to their conduct. All I can be responsible for, and all that it's reasonable for me to be responsible for, is my own conduct. I am a flawed human being, just as we all are. And we all make mistakes from time to time. I have apologized for the mistakes that I've made numerous times. Not only to the individual people that I harmed, and I certainly didn't do it intentionally, but I have apologized. If people continue to hold your previous mistakes over your head after you've apologized, that is completely unreasonable. Not only did I, in mistakes I've made in my life, seek forgiveness, but I also prayed about it heavily. And God forgave me for poor choices I've made in the past. Now, if other people seek to continue to punish you for mistakes that God has already forgiven you for, that's satanic. They've also elevated themselves in their own minds to a level above God. Why on earth would I emotionally internalize the judgments of people that are behaving satanically? I'm not about to do that. God has told me that I'm worthy. He's told me He doesn't make junk. He's told me that people that project hatred onto me, they are projecting their own self-hatred. And I should not internalize that. We were all created in God's image, and we are all wonderfully and fearfully made. God bless you all. Have a great day.